Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. Today we are going to be prepping for our Venus window, as my dog barks at nothing. This is an exact copy of the Ares Explorer. I've just edited this mid-tank to contain far less hydrazine. I've made one copy of this exact craft to try to get into Venus orbit, although if we can only hit the flyby, that would be fine too. So first, we're going to detach this rocket. We are also going to try to put something on the surface of Venus. We don't really have a contract to do it, but I feel like trying to actually accomplish something instead of failing all the time. And after the death of Rosalina on Reentry, which is horrible and tragic and all of those other things, I feel like we need some wins in our space program today. And, you know, from here on out. But we're going to start by pretty much scrapping all of this. We'll be putting most of these things back on, although we don't really need them, per se. This here is going to be doing all of its maneuvering and putting it on a trajectory to hit the atmosphere. We're going to try really hard to just aero brake into a descent profile. So, yeah, we can. You know, I want the solar panels. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna start with just this Explorer 1 core. All right. It does not have any fuel on board. That is fine. Set the height if okay. So I guess first thing, we can actually land on this framework, which maybe we'll do, maybe we won't. The big problem here is that a heat shield is going to be unusually heavy. 1.25, this is not quite big enough. We're going to have to go up to the 1.5 meter, and that is just barely going to cover it. How much of blader do you have? 113. I'm really not certain that's going to be enough. And all things considered, we may have some stuff sticking off of this. Maybe we should just go up to a 2 meter heat shield. Which has 200 ablator. And already we're beyond our avionics limit. So we're going to have to add some more avionics. Which one? We want one that shuts down, which means this one, I think the Agena is going to be entirely too much, although, yeah, 16 tons is probably way beyond. We're going to need way more than 0.2. And this only goes up to 0.3. Alright. So, maybe then, if we're going to go with 2 of these cores, I don't think we'll need any actual fuel on board. But it's a good place to bracket our experiments now, because that makes it really hard to get to. So we're going to bolt another Ranger core here to the bottom. Alright, that does have its own internal tank, so that just looks weird, doesn't it? I feel like I really should put something in the middle there, but it's just so awkward. So, alright. You're going to go on top. You're just going to go here because that is nice and form-fitting. Although now we'll need something to land on. And for some reason, we still don't have any landing legs unlocked. Which is weird, to say the least. We want a good wide base. I wonder then. Maybe we should just do... Oh, so I can mount stuff in there. What did I do? I offset that the wrong way. So we're just going to do this the new fangled way. Adjust them down. Is that enough? Yeah, that gives us some clearance. and a wide enough base to where hopefully things won't go horribly, horribly awry. I wonder if that's going to create a problem there, ejecting the heat shield. Do I want to put in a structural component, or do I want to add more battery? I feel like a structural component might, well, now if we get the leveling right, we'll just make it the same height as the landing legs, which I can't see because of all the things in the way. No, not quite. Alright. And then the heat shield. We're all still contained, and we are below our avionics limit. So far, so good. Alright, and we will need solar panels. To give us power. And I always hate how awkward that looks. Why did you have to make it diagonal? Guys, it's just weird. So we'll do that. That looks a little less weird. Alright. And we're going to need some form of communications. Again, all the awkwardness of things. I don't really want to flop them down into the solar panels. That might be what we have to do. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's not going to work at all. A little better, although I disagree with the clipping. So maybe we should get a structural part up there. No, structural would be here. That. And then we can raise these. I would like snap too. It's just easier. Does that look cheaty? No, it does not look cheaty. Okay. Alright. And 2 of these to try to communicate with things in orbit. Just 2, please. Alright, and then sciencey experiments and stuff. Throw a magnetometer, and since I've been so not cheaty, I feel like we can sink this into a structural part. That's fine, right? You guys aren't going to yell at me for that. And then the rest of our experiments. Temperature, Geiger tube, orbital perturbation, micrometeorite, we've already got one of them, press map. And now the weight issue, we're going to have to double up on one of these, unfortunately. I don't know, I guess we really won't. That offset of mass is so small. And all it has to do is fall. Oh, parachute. Crap. Well, that does go about changing the landscape a little bit, doesn't it? Alright, well, we're just going to have to move these things. Parachute. Now we're beyond our avionics limit, although that may change when we size this down. Previous size, previous size, previous size, previous size. There we go. Alright, case texture will be combo. Change material, Kevlar, choose. This is for our target planet, Venus. Let's do that. I know we probably don't need a triple. Just in case we get entirely too slowed down. Alright, and our primary will be a drogue, which will deploy at, let's say, 10 kilometers. Hopefully we'll be totally slow by then. You know what, let's bring that down. Let's say 6,500 kilometers, and we'll auto cut at, we'll say 1,500. Oh no, that's deployment. We want that to deploy way earlier than that. We'll say it deploys at 65. Let's go for full deployment at 4,000. Auto cut at 1,000. Secondary will be a standard main, which will pre-deploy at 1,500. Come to full deploy at say 450. Auto cut altitude of 1. Apply settings. Settings applied. And awesome, now we're back below our weight limit, although that might change because we need to add these little guys back on. 2 of them. And our magnetometer. Alright. We are still under our weight limit. That's amazing. Eek. Okay, good. Center mass is still relatively low, so we shouldn't have a problem. Excuse me. Staying within Atmo. Alright, and we're going to lock this battery. So we should lock all of these batteries, because we're going to need them in case we come down on the nighttime side. And enable cross feed, because we want to be able to charge the batteries from this one should we need it. And we're also going to need some comms equipment. I'm intending for this little guy to stay in orbit. We should move these solar panels down. And we're going to want 6 of them because it's got a lot more avionics to feed. Science. So firstly we will need a pair of these, both for low contact with Earth or low contact with Venus, and a pair of these for connecting with Earth. Alright, so let's set our action groups. Action group 10. Analyze telemetry. Log magnetometer. Temp. Radiation. Chord petriversion. pressure. Alright. Alright, and our primary boot function will be to toggle these panels. Activate. Activate. By then our fairing is gone, so we should probably just activate these two. And we'll make a second one for lander boot, which will activate these and extend these panels. That should do it. That's how we want our order. Engine fires, we decouple. Then we lose the heat shield and fire the chutes. This will be Venus Lander 1. Save. Okay. What's our delta V? 3,500 on this stage. That should be enough to round out a transfer and maybe do a little bit of braking before this little guy slams into the atmosphere at full tilt. You know, atmosphere there is super thick, so maybe it'll all just work out. All right. Reattach our Omega 1 booster and double check our staging. That's SEP, that's engine, that's that SEP, that's that SEP, and that shoots. Okay. Throw our fairings back on. They are probably going to be after our second stage ignition. Make sure that's our third stage. Yes, it is. Alright, and there it is. We're gonna hurl at least one of these at Venus. We'll save edits. It'll only take 115 days to slap this rocket together. That's pretty damn impressive. So let's see what we got coming down the docket. The VAB, we have another Zenith Blue 5, which 71 days from being done, maybe we'll just ride with it. And then our two Venus Explorer crafts. The timing on this one is so ridiculous because we actually do make progress on our secondary assembly line, just nowhere near the progress that we make on our primary. So in 70 days when this is done, this is going to jump down to probably 110, 112 days. Something along those lines. I don't know if I really... We're going to take a $2 million hit if we don't succeed in our lunar flyby contract, but I'm really not sure any Kerbal we send out that far is going to survive. And so I have decided to suspend our crewed operations until further notice, until we've unlocked some better technology, which we have a lot coming down the line. It's just all going to take a lot of time. So that's how that's going to be. So anyway, in the next episode, we will probably be launching something or doing some further crewed testing. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Appreciate it. I will see you in the next one.